Hey everyone, it's Mr. PK here. So today we're going to be learning about how the Earth moves and about the seasons. So to help us learn about that, I have an orange here and a lemon that I taped over with blue paint tape. And you'll notice that this blue lemon, which represents the Earth, and the orange represents the sun, that inside of our Earth we have a screw on top and a screw on bottom, and this represents Earth's axis. So it's an imaginary line that goes through the North Pole down all the way through the South Pole. All right. So Earth spins around this axis once every 24 hours. This is called rotating. So we rotate on our axis, and that's what gives us day and night. So if we bring up our sun here, when we are spinning around our axis, whatever side is facing the sun is daytime, and whatever is facing away is nighttime. Okay? So as we're spinning around once every 24 hours, whatever's facing the sun is daytime, away is nighttime. And we rotate once every 24 hours. So as we're rotating around this imaginary line, we are revolving around the sun. Okay? And what that means is we are going around it like this. All right? And we do this once a year. So we're rotating on our axis, and then we are revolving around the sun. One cool thing about why we have seasons is if this is our Earth and this is our axis, when we're going around the sun, the reason we have seasons is our axis is tilted like this. Okay? If you were standing on the North Pole, let's say this is the equator and this is the North Pole. If you're standing on the North Pole and you look straight up, you're going to see the North Star. What that means is if you were to look at Earth and the sun from way out in space, it would look like the North Pole is pointing directly to the North Star, which we call Polaris. So what's really cool about our North Pole facing the North Star is that as we go around the sun, no matter where we are in our movement around the sun, the North Pole is always facing the North Star, okay? So we're always facing the North Star if you're sitting at the North Pole, okay? Um, and bless you. And as you're going around the sun, why do we have seasons? Well, let's think about this. If we're on the North Pole, or if we're in the northern hemisphere here, all right, and we're facing like this, and we're always going around the sun, right here, notice the northern hemisphere, which is the northern part of the Earth from the top up. Notice that the northern hemisphere is pointed towards the sun, all right? What that means is that the sunlight is going to be hitting it more intensely. So we have hotter, it feels hotter, and we have summertime. And then, even though we're always facing the North Pole, right? We're always facing it. Here, notice now it looks like the North Hemisphere is facing away from the sun. During this time, the sunlight is less intense on the Northern Hemisphere, and we have winter. Okay? So we have summer as we go around, then we have winter where we're facing away. Okay? And you'll notice that I drew two other black lines up here. This black line represents the Arctic Circle, and this black line represents the Antarctic Circle. So during our summertime, we have 24 hours of sunlight at the North Pole. What that means is that as the Earth is rotating, because of the angle of the Earth, it is always sunlight no matter what time of day at the North Pole. Whereas the South Pole, let's see if I can get my hand away, the South Pole during this time is always darkness, 24 hours of darkness. Now let's go to our winter in the Northern Hemisphere. In the Northern Hemisphere, during winter, it should be, it's kind of hard because I have a light near me. During wintertime, there's going to be 24 hours of darkness at the North Pole, and there will be 24 hours of sunlight at the South Pole, all right, at the Arctic Circle and below. So that's why I have those two circles there. Okay, so we have Earth rotating around our axis, all right? Our axis is tilted, and as we revolve around the sun, with our northern axis always pointing towards the North Star out in space, when we're pointed towards the sun, we have summer, and when we're pointed away from the sun, the northern pole has winter. And the cool thing is, when we have summer in the northern hemisphere, then the southern hemisphere has winter. And when we have winter in the northern hemisphere, the South Pole has summer because it's facing into the sun. And you might wonder, well, what happens between summer and winter? Well, you have fall, and then you have spring. All right, so you have summer, fall, spring, winter, summer. So we have rotation and revolution.